coming. And I'll start. I mentioned to Matt, there's a tiny error in the draft minutes under the who was present and not of legislators. Nathan Emmons is listed as just Emmons again, not present or excused.
It's my new name. I go by just a single name. Madonna, Prince.
Nathan Emmons was what? He was Emmons. I think you were here, weren't you?
Yes, I believe so.
So with that, does anybody else have any amendments to the minutes? Goes for a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We've got minutes. All right. HS1 is a resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Social Services for furniture and furnishings. Use of 2 office spaces that you've already got the equipment under state contract or got it planned. I totaled up the proposed total cost of $10,817.96, and after state and federal reimbursement of $7,193, the local share will be $3,624. And this is going to allow you to facilitate small group meetings in 2 different spaces, the Director of Services and the Executive Assistant to the Commissioner's offices, correct?
Correct.
Any questions for Stacy on this or Marty? Just out of curiosity, so after you expend the money, you file for the reimbursements, and what's the time frame for that to come back through something like that?
When the state actually processes our invoices, which within 2 months typically.
It depends, but some stuff can take a little bit longer because it comes in pieces.
Yeah.
I was just curious. So I'll look for a motion on HS1.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, any other discussion, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. HS2 is a resolution authorizing creation of a part-time caseworker aide position in the Department of Social Services. I'll look for a motion on that.
I'll make a motion.
In a second?
Second.
Multiple seconds. So this is another situation. Can you explain, this is similar to what had happened before where you hired someone part-time and takes away a full-time position, so we want to create the part-time position?
That's exactly it. Yes. We have a college student doing part-time work for us late afternoons and evenings and taking up a full-time line, and I want to get that full-time person in there. Yet I don't want to let that part-timer go because they're all busy with transports.
Okay, any questions for Stacy on that? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. HS3
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
is a resolution authorizing the creation of 3 full-time typists and 1 temporary part-time typist in the Department of Social Services. Since I already typed this up, I'll read it. This is my cheat sheet. When I have 9 resolutions, I do my own cheat sheet, so I don't try to remember everything. DSS seeks to hire these temporary positions as typists to scan child support files over the next few months. These are there are approximately 12,000 closed cases and 6,100 active cases which need to be scanned. And it allows the removal of the existing storage units in order to repurpose the space for the fraud unit. That move will free space on the 2nd floor in the Adult and Family Services Division for sobriety treatment and recovery teams' cubicles, which will house vacant positions that you're hoping to fill. The equipment for the move is already purchased, but you don't have the ability to complete the scanning, so that's the roadblock to making the change. If all 4 positions are able to be filled, the cost for 6 months will be $51,058. And after 72% reimbursement, the local share will end up being $14,297. When the scanning is completed, the positions will be removed from the budget. Due to the current vacancies, the hires are budget neutral. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
I'll look for a motion.
So move.
We got a first and second. Any questions, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Finish signing this here. There's that one. Okay. HS4 is a resolution authorizing a budget amendment for Catholic Charities Transportation Services contract with the Department of Social Services. For motion. We got Herb.
Second.
And we got Frank. So DSS relies on Catholic charity drivers to transport children, youth, and parents to and from supervised visitation, counseling appointments, court appearances, and other critical services. The current contract is for $309,690 for 3 years that covers fiscal 2020, 21, 22, and most of 23. At the end of that 3-year contract, DSS is seeking to go ahead with a 2-year option to extend the contract based on good performance and to increase it by $28,216, a 9% increase over the first 3 years, which will cover that increase during 23, the remainder of 23 and 24. The increase will provide an increase in driver's wages and the leasing of 2 vehicles. DSS will receive 62% state reimbursement for the contract. Of the $28,216 increase, the local share will be $10,722. Given again current vacancies, this will be budget neutral for 23. Additional local share will be added to the preventive contracts line in the 2024 budget. In 2024, they'll put out another RFP for the next 5-year cycle. So, any questions or discussion? And if I get anything wrong on my little reading sessions, you please let me know, okay?
Absolutely.
Basically, I'm taking your memos and anything I can learn about these and just putting it into something I could share with the legislature. All right, we're good? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. HS5 is a resolution authorizing reclassification of an account clerk to a senior account clerk in the Department of Social Services. How about I let you guys do this one?
I'm actually going to turn it over to, I'm hoping everyone knows Rachel Pierce.
Oh, see,
Our
so
director-
Rachel, you came, so I didn't steal any thunder from you. Before we discuss, let's look for a motion on this.
So move.
Sorry. All right, Rachel Pierce, our wonderful.
So what we're looking for is to upgrade to the senior account clerk. We actually had a 25-year account clerk retire last fall and have not been able to find an adequate replacement for her. And then also in really digging into the position more, it is a higher level work than that entry level that is at the account clerk level, and a lot of it is tracking all of our on-the-job training contracts and our scholarship contracts that we have with the local businesses and training providers, and really supporting our senior accountant. And for E&T, with our $3.2 million budget, that's our accounting unit for all that. It's just the senior accountant and hopefully the senior account clerk with that. And our senior accountant, she has only been with us for 1.5 years after Bill Martin retired after 30 years. So they're all new, and we're really hoping, with all of this money coming into workforce development, we've got a couple other grant applications out there right now and more to come. So I think having that higher level at that senior account clerk is also going to just assist our department as a whole as more funding comes through from state and federal levels.
Okay, Matt, I already got a first and second on that, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Questions for Rachel? Man, this is going easy today. All right, well then, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Rachel, for coming out.
Could I just pause for a moment, because I know Rachel needs to get going. I won't be here for my updates, but, Rachel, I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot. Do you want to talk just a little bit about Micron activities? I just want people to know that from the time Rachel took over as the director until now, her position has gone to a whole new level. Micron is very political. She'll be greeting Senator Mannion in to her midst on Friday. She's just taken on so much responsibility, so many more meetings, so much more vision, and has done such an incredible job. Do you want to talk just a little bit about Micron?
Yes, so actually last week I had the ability to meet with some of the execs from Micron when they were in the area. So I, as the Workforce Development Board Director for the county, have been invited to sit on the Future Ready Workforce Innovation Consortium, which is a group of educators. It is from the community college level. There are some four-year institutions involved, but then also K through 12 and apprenticeship programs as well, to make sure that there is a cohesion in the region of the education and the pathways that are going to be needed for all of the technical education that their employees are going to need. And then also meeting with them here in Oswego County to really see what the county as a whole needs for the community, and working with different groups with the Oswego County Micron Strategy Steering Committee, I think is the full name of it. But around not only workforce, but then how does childcare and transportation and housing and all of those other pieces and the infrastructure play in together as well. So I am leading the workforce portion of that and really working with the other chairs of the other pieces. But Micron's plan at this point, I mean, they're working on their permits and everything that they need to really get started, because within 5 years they hope to have they want their whole plan to build the 4 fabs. They want to have one up, running, and producing, and be almost completing with construction of the second one within 5 years. And they're not even going to put a shovel in the ground for another year and a half. So it's all going to ramp up very quickly. Right now, a lot of our talks are on the construction realm and the training and recruiting for that workforce. That's just going to be a growing and continual need. So that's where we're at this point.
You know, and again, I can't commend Rachel enough for just how incredible she's been stepping right up into all these different roles. We're so fortunate to have her leadership in the workforce development arena, so thank you.
I agree.
Thank you.
I had the opportunity to, the last time I was at the Workforce Development Board meeting, Gina was there, and we just handed off, we brought it inside, and the chairmanship of the board, the Workforce Development Board, had been through SUNY for a long time. And so handing it off was kind of daunting last summer. And to have Gina come back on that board now with her position at Shinneman, and have Rachel there, I was able to basically say thank you to both of them for such a seamless transition, because it has been smooth, and thank you for all your good work. So we can let you go now.
Thank you.
Unless you want to hang out with us cool cats.
Gotta go read more of those grant applications.
Well, there you go.
She's got a lot going on over there.
Sure does.
Thank you.
Moving in a mobility manager too.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to HS6. Resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Social Services overtime.
Still moving.
Yeah, we got a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. HS 7, resolution authorizing County of Oswego to accept a donation from the Workforce Development Institute of $1,000 as a lunch sponsor for the Oswego County Youth Career Summit. For a motion. got Frank, yeah, got her, okay. Brian, anything quick, or is that?
No, this is just, like I said, it's a contribution to help pay for lunch. We have 700 eighth graders signed up so far. And then you take in the school staffing and the volunteers who will be there that day. So it costs a little bit of money to feed that many people. So the $1,000 is a great donation.
Great.
To help pay for it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. HSA is a resolution authorizing budget modification for the Office of the Aging Shine SNAP Education Grant. This is to add $33,184 to the OFA budget from the New York State SOFA Shine Grant, which stands for Senior Health Improvement and Nutrition Education. Look for a motion.
So moved. Second.
Sarah, do you have anything else to share on that? I think
Yeah, this grant we've had for a number of years. This is the first year we've had an educator in the position. We were under the impression we might lose some of our funding, so when I did the budget for this year, I reduced the amount. So this is bringing it back up to the full amount, because we got the full amount for the grant.
That's good news.
unexpected money. We like it. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. HS9. It's a resolution authorizing the reclassification of one attorney position in the Department of Social Services. I just want to make a point that there's a note on our agendas to request to set the salary. You don't actually have to. That's an FMP function. So we're going to basically ignore, I think, the position request delete form and just go with what, so the position is actually going to be at what the memo states.
104,263.
Right.
Yes, is what the memo states.
That was it.
And,
And so this is, I'll look for a motion and then I'll let you talk about it.
So moved.
Second? Look for a second?
Second.
Second. Go ahead, Stace.
It's, it has been recommended by the county attorney and the county administrator over the past few years that we have a senior social services attorney. There's an evolution that happens when you bring a team on, which was just 4 years ago. We brought legal services in-house, and so much has changed. And this is the right time now. We are losing Ashley to become a magistrate in support court, which is quite an incredible accomplishment. We're so very, very proud of her. And that tells you the real quality of our attorneys. But they can only show up so often in court. I mean, they can't be in two courts at once. They can only pay attention to one court. And we have 2 vacancies now, so the 2 new attorneys coming in will need to be trained by our supervising attorney. And we've got some consistency. We need to do some QA in terms of consistency in how we're pushing out cases. I have chosen the senior, and people that need to know right now do know who that is. So that's why I'm asking for both of these to be done all in the same month. Would imagine then F&P would need to set the salary based on this position being approved by the full Board of Legislators, is what I'm thinking. Legislator, do you have?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay.
So we really are just doing the reclassification.
You're just doing the reclassification, but, you know, we do get that 75% federal and state. When we look at the difference between that person's salary now and what I'm asking for, it costs an additional local share $2,500.
Any other questions?
So we're not voting on that salary right now, we're voting on the.
We're
Reclassification.
voting on the reclassification of the position.
But I did want you to know what I had offered, you know, I just think, it used to lay with jurisdictional committees. So I still feel like I need to provide you that information whenever
No, I think it's important and it's justified, and, you know, we need to keep these people on staff.
please.
So, any other thoughts, questions?
I
Yes.
just appreciate Stacy's willingness to evolve. That particular department, as you mentioned, it's only 4 years young, so a lot has taken place. So I appreciate your oversight and continuation to progress with it.
Yeah. And again, a stellar team. I call them my dream team.
Well, and, you know, we're not happy about losing Ashley, but we can give our congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Hard work. Got it there.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're gonna scoot right over to reporting departments and start with Veterans Services update.
So some exciting stuff that's been going on. Thanks to Legislature Yearden, I now have a private office in Pulaski with high-speed internet. And it's been a struggle there where I was sitting. I had to use the guest Wi-Fi. He came in and within a week, he has me completely set up. So this Thursday will be my first day there. So I'm super excited about that. And
Good.
I didn't know that yours knew about high speed.
Mike does.
Well, at home, they
He's an
don't.
expert.
I mean, up there in that way, you know, it's fine.
on Friday, we went to Pulaski Legion and sat in on they had a community fair. We didn't get a whole lot of traffic. The place was kind of busy, but when I got to looking around, one of the things I noticed was just how plain our table was. From a distance, you can't even tell who we are, to be honest. So I'm now going to order some stuff so that we can have a banner for the front to let people know who we are, get a tablecloth. We got some pretty little cheap trinkets. I might pick up a little better quality pins or something like that to draw people's attention. I want to start trying to do as many of these things as possible because I kind of did some numbers. I went through the census and then I went through our Vet Pro program. And there's just under 8,000 veterans in Oswego County. And in the last year, we've seen just under 800. So we're only getting 10% of those people.
Mhm.
I was hoping that moving into the Oswego clinic would help boost that up because the veterans are actually coming in there. The clinic has been great. Even when I don't have appointments scheduled, the doctors and the counselors there are bringing these veterans to me. As they're talking to them and they're finding out that they have heart issues or things like that, they bring them to me. I sit them down and we're able to file claims for them. But still 10% is just, that's not kosher. We need to make that number go way up. So I want to start going to more of these fairs and things like that. I actually know some people that run the Oswego County Fair, so I am going to try to get a spot up there this year. So we usually go up there, from what I understand in the past, and we share it with the state, I believe. But I want to make sure that we're recognized as the county and that people know where to go. Other than that, we're working on the Sergeant Parker Gordon Fox Suicide Prevention Grant Program with a lot of other agencies. Clear Path for Veteran has offered to head it up. This is especially something that I really want to be part of because of the suicide prevention portion of it, 22 a day. I've known several veterans that are no longer with us because of that. So I'm excited about that. So other than that, we're doing really good. No problems.
Great, and Mike, thank you for your help getting in that
Yeah.
space up there.
Well, as I said, Eric, sometimes we sit here, but sometimes the people are brand new, like Eric was, all he has to do is ask us. If we know there's an issue, we'll try to address it best we can. And So I stopped by a couple of weeks up there to talk to Eric, and I find him meeting in a general public area without secure Wi-Fi or secure computers, something like that. So did a quick walk through, got the building, found people who had an office up there that was not being used. It was a private office that had all the facilities we need, and it didn't take much to move it. And so I appreciate his time and effort, and I think that there's other things I've talked to Eric about maybe getting more contact information out to the veterans, because I believe there's a lot of veterans out there that really don't even know that we have this service and that we can help them out. And so we're going to try to get our fingers out and get more contact out with people so they can come in and we can expand our services a little bit. And so, and thanks a lot, Eric, for your hard work and dedication on this thing. So we appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Jim.
Is there any reason why his table couldn't be in the county building at the county fair?
No.
Okay.
I know some people.
That would be awesome.
I know people at the county fair too, so I maybe could help you.
They have a building there. I mean, so we should,
Oh, yeah. There's
careful
plenty-
what you wish in tabling. I did 11 last month.
There's plenty of tables.
And I will tell you, Oswego County is very well represented in a lot of these tablings, you're correct. That was a little bit unusual up there in Pulaski, but it was their very first time.
Yes, yes.
I will tell you, the one I did in Chittenango 3 weeks ago was 10 times bigger than, and they forgot to advertise it correctly, and about 10 people showed up.
Oh, no. That's horrible.
But OFA is always there, DSS is there, you're there, so, it's something to be proud of. We do have good representation at the table.
I'm
Thank you.
betting, Eric, too, that Kelly's probably a really good source for you as far as tablecloths and.
We can definitely give you some resources.
Yeah, absolutely. I get my brochures and cards through Port City, so I was just gonna contact them, but if you know somebody, that would be a lot better, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take advantage of internal networking.
Absolutely.
Well, you're a relatively new director, and sometimes you just have to ask. And the longer you're around, the more people you know, sometimes the easier things get.
And I think this year, the fair schedule is going to be somewhat different than it has been in past years. It's going to be somewhat of a modification of meetings out there, of gatherings rather than the fair itself. I think that they didn't get the pandemic, a lot of the people that had the rights went out of business. So getting rights there, so there's going to be some events, and I usually meet with the fair board once a month also. So I'll keep you up abreast of what's going on, get you up there.
Awesome, yes.
All right, anything else for Eric? Go ahead.
Speaking of benefits, there's so many benefits available that veterans don't even know about it. Prime example would be my brother Kern. He had a heart problem, and he had to have stents put in and everything. Come to find out, because he's a Vietnam veteran, it was all taken care. It should have been all taken care of, but he never knew that. And it was just by accident he found out about it, because they don't tell the veterans what's out there. So now he gets full coverage on this thing, but he's 76 years old. He's been out since he's 21.
Oh, wow.
So he never knew those benefits existed, because the government don't tell you.
Exactly. We see that a lot, and nothing's more aggravating than a family member comes to me. Matter of fact, there's a guy I'm working with now. He's a 97-year-old Korean War vet, former POW. And the only thing he receives right now is his compensation. And there's so much other stuff out there that's available for him. His family's dishing out $3,500 a week to have someone come in and take care of him. So this grandson just happened to call me, and I was like, yeah, this is not good. There's all kinds of stuff. So him and I are starting to work together to try to get that veteran as much as he can. But I mean, he's 97. If he would have came to us when he was 87 even, it would have been a lot better. But that happens weekly. Veterans come in, they're there for one thing, and I start talking to them because I start asking those questions, and then I find out there's 4 or 5 other issues that are connected to Agent Orange, or they're connected to the burn pits, or they're connected to, the different conflicts and stuff out there, and you're correct, they have no idea. They have no idea that they could file for it.
Since the Agent Orange was developing, all the experimenting with Agent Orange was done at Fort Drum years ago. That's when they experimented all that Agent Orange, Fort Drum. Nobody knew it.
Well, the other thing too that I try to get these people to realize is there's a presumptive list out there, yes. So you have to file, you can only file for what's on that list. But there's also the environmental department down at the VA, they're doing free physicals for people. So if they have these other ailments, as more and more people sign up and do these physicals, as these ailments start showing that they're more and more prominent, they add them to that presumptive list. So just because it's not on the list doesn't mean you don't need to go down there and get, at least looked at. So that way, some of these, even once they added them, they backdated it. So if you applied 10 years ago and now they added it, they back pay you all the way to when you first got denied. Definitely would be better. I would like to figure out a way to get that information out there. That's absolutely.
That's something else that we can help you with, an awareness campaign. If you want, we can sit down and go over like some of the hot button issues that you're seeing that people aren't aware of, and we can draft news releases around those.
Yeah, especially with the Agent Orange in Camp Lejeune, because of the cutthroat attorneys commercials out there. People coming to me because it was going to cost them $40,000 to file, and we do it for free. So
I think the hearing is a big thing in the veterans, because they never ever get hearing protection out when I was in. I mean, you were behind the line, you'd shoot 600 rounds, and there'd be 100 be laying side by side. No ear protection, no eye protection, no nothing. And then they have an advertisement about faulty ear plugs. Well, they never issued them to anybody for the first years until like 10 years, 15 years ago, they started issuing the ear. They never did it to people like me or my brothers or anybody else. Never.
There might be 60, 70 on the line shooting at the same time.
Yeah. So I think hearing is a huge thing. That's why my brother was there. He's been fighting the VA for 7 years to try to get coverage on his ears. That's how it came all about his heart.
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was the judge. He went to one of the board meetings, and
Yeah.
the judges wanted to say, "Wait, you got what? You need to file." So he came and we filed it, and he was receiving his comp within a month. I think
Yeah.
it was.
Once you found out about it.
Right. So,
Well, any way we can help you, don't be afraid to ask. And, the idea of some kind of advertising or some campaign sounds like it would be valuable.
No, we don't want you to spend their money.
Anything else? Any other questions for Eric? All right, thank you for your good work.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I'm gonna go over to Youth Bureau, and why don't we start with your contract, Brian? That
Okay.
apparently
So
Rich wanted us to take a look at this and approve it.
the county fair has been talked a little bit about here. This is a contract we have with them to host our youth summit. Some of you have probably seen this flyer, pass it on if you want when you can take one. We have a youth summit coming up there this month, couple weeks. And this is the same contract we pretty much had last year. It does need the chairman to sign it. They just gave it to us on Friday, so not a lot of notice. Last year they didn't even give us one. Well, they did, but it was a long story. Anyways, Rich has gone through it. He didn't really see anything in there that was too alarming. We do have the rider for the insurance already secured. You do have security that day. We have public safety from city BOCES, and there are quite a bit of law enforcement there that day, as well as EMTs and fire. There's quite a few of them there as well that day. So we pretty much feel we have this covered. And we do have some partners that are working with us on this. Rachel left, she's one of the partners. City BOCES is a partner. OBCR from SUNY is a partner. Cornell Profit Extension is a partner. But we're the lead, so we're on the contract. So again, Rich wanted me to run it by you guys, at least have committee approval for the chairman to be able to sign. Or if you have any concerns.
So I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we accept this contract for Brian to enter.
A second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you. I also was going to say if there was any concerns that Legislator Karasik will be there doing the welcome that day, so he can handle if need be. I believe he did last year.
Let the dog talk. They don't want to listen to me.
Because guess why you'll be there that day?
Dog.
Guess why you'll be there that day? Tabling. I'll just run through quickly. Also, I do have other handouts. City Mass is a lot of copies, a lot of colors, but if you can take them, give them to the people who need them, great. If not, we will be using them in different events. We'll be going through or hanging them in our building. First one is AmeriCorps. Just as a quick reminder, we have about 40 summer open positions right now. They can start as early as mid-May. So if you know of a entity who's not-for-profit looking for some assistance this summer, I encourage that you maybe distribute those. Next one is Camp Hollis. We are doing quite well right now. We are at 454 registered campers right now. We had about 400 last year on May 1st. So we're 54 ahead. Day camp is completely sold out. But with that being said, we can, you'll have some people who will cancel and such. So we'll continue to advertise with that. With our staffing, I did put in here one of the pretty important staff positions that is needed. We are looking for our cook for the nighttime. So I did put all the information on here for the job description. If anybody knows anybody possibly looking to get a summer job feeding lots and lots of young people, that would be good to have. With that as well, on June 3rd, we'll be doing the second annual Friends Camp Hollis 5K. So that's again I had my baseball game canceled that day. I got a text, so I'm going to run it. That's basically a 5K we have, and that's again through Friends Camp Hollis. That is there as well. Camp Zerby, we are also doing well at Camp Zerby right now. We distributed our flyers at APW School District last week, and we've had quite a few sign-ups. We're in Pulaski this week. This is the flyer for the camp. Again, last year we sold out the camp in about 3 hours. This year, we're on a good pace, but it isn't sold out. But again, if you guys don't recall, we did put a price to it this year. Last year it was free. We're still doing quite well. We have 91 of 180 spots full right now, so we're at exactly 50.5%. And our staffing, Zach did put on here that we are staffed right now, but we could use one more depending on enrollment. That we do say 180, but all of a sudden if we had more kids who wanted to sign up with ratios, we would need one more staff. So if anybody knows of anybody interested in possibly working in the Camp Zerby area, that would be something that we'd be looking to do. Our mini grants, for those of you who've applied or haven't in the past, those are due today. Those are the $1,000 awards that we use through the state to help fund out-of-school time programming. Currently, we've received 8 so far. We're expecting, from what we've been working with, to have another 5 or 6 in by the end of the day. So my board will be reviewing those coming up. We have 12. We have room for about 10 to 12 Arts in the Park shows this summer. We have 5 booked already. So again, anybody knowing of any not-for-profits, municipalities, etc., could be agencies looking for summer entertainment, let us know, and we can work with you on that. I mean, DSS, if you guys have any events and you would like a balloon person there or something, let us know, and we could do that for you. Our contracts, we're working with those that the state, as everybody is aware, as well, probably I've talked about, is changing their funding cycle. So we're working with our agencies with the changes for the upcoming year. And then in Hannibal, we've put a committee together. What we're doing with a lot of municipalities, we've been doing it in Fulton, we've done in the city of Oswego, and now Hannibal. We're working with their communities to help them get some programming done. We did an Easter egg hunt with them last month, which was quite successful, and now they are working on a 4th of July event to the Hannibal Free Library. Last things I was going to give you quickly, like I said, take what you want. If you don't, just pass back. Our Leadership Oswego County Youth Program has its graduation Friday or Wednesday of this week, and that's the application for next year. If anybody knows anybody, there are some City of Oswego events in here that if you would like to pass them along or take, then you can do so. And I think you all received an invite to the Friends of Camp Hollis event they're holding on May 25th. They were able to secure that. We worked alongside them to get the climbing wall and the new playground done. So they would like to invite their group out there and just do a little ribbon cutting type of event. So you are invited to that event. If you can attend, that would be great. If not, we understand, but there it is for being out there. Aside from that, we're doing well. We're back in schools. Our school-based programs are really excelling. We are in the Oswego Middle School. My staff has been quite busy working with the students and staff there. They have asked them again this summer to help with summer school as well. So they'll be in the school 2 days a week, I believe, in the summer to assist with the programming there as well. So all going well. We're keeping busy. I had a vacancy. I filled that vacancy. So I do have my new account clerk started today. And then I have another vacancy. Rachel, when she left, I think it's going to Rachel, but I'll get through that one. That's an AmeriCorps system, so I'll be advertising for that one. I think HR already did, so, but that's about it.
So, guy from the VA guy. They can get stuff done for you. Get a color printer. You had a color printer, right?
I usually yell at my staff for using a color printer, but
They all like Brian use a color printer.
I tell them to go downtown and use City Hall. So.
If I had time, I'd send mine to Syracuse because then they build them and not me.
Pardon? Yeah.
Nice.
It's good stuff. So, can you send a list of each of these events and the dates?
I can.
Well, the ones that happen after the legislature meeting. So, I think we want to try to spotlight a couple of things every month.
Yep.
So anytime any of you have things you want mentioned at the public legislature meeting and to hand off something, to the press and maybe get them to talk about it, let's make a point of doing that. I don't know if your list is a little long this month, Brian, so I'm not
A
going
couple
to
things going on.
get them all.
Brian,
In fact,
Yeah.
In fact, I am probably not going to be at the next meeting, but Jay knows that already, so unfortunately he couldn't be here today. All right, any questions for Brian? All right, on to the go ahead.
One thing too, in regard to Camp Hollis, the RFP will be going out today for the request for architectural engineering people to Zerby. Camp Zerby for the brand new bathhouse. So the bids coming in, I think the 24th of next month. So that's in motion now too.
Yeah, they do. Again, thank you to both legislative Yerdans who came to a meeting last week, which was really good because you get multi-departments there and you're trying to get things lined up. And it's always good to have a legislator say, you get that done by next week, right? Yeah.
Right.
So Mike did that. Here we go.
Okay, well,
This week.
good. Sarah gave us a handout, so check that out. She's got some kind of hot stuff coming for next month.
Yes, and as I was reviewing it, I see that I have some typos, so I'll send an updated memo out, correcting the typos that I have in here. But I'm just going to go through the items on here. These are things that we've been working on. So now all the congregate dining sites are open for sit-down meals, all except for Hannibal. So that includes Central Square, Fulton, Mexico Parish, and Phoenix. To a great turnout. and great. They're very happy, or elderly are happy to be able to sit down and have a meal together, whereas it was nice when they could have their social hour and speak with each other or have a nutrition education program, but being able to sit down and eat with each other, that's really brightened their day as well. And that's what the congregate sites are about, is bringing people together and sitting down and having a congregate meal. That being said, participants at the Hannibal site are still resistant to coming in and sitting down and having a meal. We had 7 participants in the month of March that came in. Of them, 2 of them were Cuba County residents, and with the opening of sites to sit-down meal, they didn't want to do so. They were referred to their Cuba County programs there, their meal programs. We also had 2 that transitioned to home-delivered meals because if they want to continue with a grab-and-go meal and not participate in any of the programming, they have to be assessed for home-delivered meals. So these people were assessed and they chose to go transition to home-delivered meals as opposed to coming to the site. The last 3 participants do not want to participate in the site activities, as well as they do not want to be assessed for home-delivered meals. So really that leaves no one to provide meals to at the Hannibal site. As per the contract that we have with OCO, it's a 3-year contract with a possibility for 2 one-year extensions. The contract started in 2020, and stipulation was that all 6 sites had to remain open for at least a year. So this, we've been in discussion with OCO to potentially close the Hannibal site due to lack of participation. And we have tried many different things to increase participation at that site as well. We have worked with town and village. We have in the past put flyers in the grocery store bags to let people know that this is a great program to come and attend. But we really just have not gotten that attendance from people. Participants prior to COVID, some of them have passed away. Some of them no longer can get out. They had transitioned previously to home delivered meals. So we're still providing meal service. It's just that it's a cost factor to have that site remain open for 3 people to come and grab a meal, and that's it.
So your proposal is to close the Hannibal site altogether and then open the site in Pulaski. Is there something what do we have to do to help you make that happen?
Well, for Hannibal, we really don't have to do anything, just to agree that we're going to make an amendment to the contract to remove Hannibal from the contract. To open Pulaski, we have to again make an amendment to add Pulaski as a center to the contract. From OCO, there's no additional startup cost to open that site. It is at Selkirk Landing, which they manage. So the community room there, they would be receiving at no cost, so that would not be a cost. Site manager cost would transfer from the Hannibal site to the Pulaski site, so that would be a wash. The only additional cost would be how many additional meals that we provided. So if Hannibal had 7 participants per month, and we have 20 participants in Pulaski, the additional meal cost is what that cost would be. And that I had it on here listed to add Pulaski. I'm gonna bring it to committee next month to move forward with a resolution to make a change for an amendment to the contract to add that in. Does anybody have any question on that? We had a site in that area previously. It was in Pulaski at the Ringgold Fire Department for many years. It went to a church in Sandy Creek for 3 or 4 years, and then that site was closed, not due to lack of participation, but it was due to the increased cost to operate that site. The church was asking some additional rent funds that we couldn't keep up with that escalating price. So the site was closed temporarily while we were trying to find a new site. It's just been 5 plus years that we haven't been able to find a site. With this new building, this kind of fits into it. It's a great site. It has the space, it has a brand new kitchen. So we know that there'll be people that will be participating. It's never been a participation issue in that area of the county.
So is it a typo then in the first bullet that Phoenix is one of the ones that is now open, or are we already serving there?
Phoenix, we're talking about Plasky.
Plasky.
Yeah.
Jeez, sorry.
What else is that located? Across from high school? Is that
Yes.
the one you're talking about?
Yes.
The new complex?
Yes.
Okay.
Where's the one in Fulton?
The Fulton one is right in the municipal building.
Okay, all right.
Bring some average numbers for us for each of those other sites when you come next time, too.
Sure.
And how many times a week they're meeting?
Right. Fulton is 5 days a week.
Yeah.
That site is open. The others are 2 to 3 days, and I'll bring that information to you. And what days there's transportation to those sites as well.
And you're expecting a really good turnout in Pulaski.
Yes, when we did in-person surveys at Springbrook, the senior apartment building there, and we surveyed 35 people. We were right by the mailboxes, so we're trying to get them when they're getting their mail. Of the 35 people, 90% of them stated that they would attend a site. The number one hindrance, a lot of them have their own transportation, so it wasn't a huge issue, but the number one hindrance for them would be transportation. So we'll be working with OCO Transportation on our nutrition site contract to see what the cost would be to bring that in. But they're also looking to modify the public transportation route so it stops at Springbrook and will have a stop at Selkirk Landing as well. So
Because there would only be one stop and you'd pick up a lot of people.
yes.
Okay.
So also along with nutrition services, I'll be bringing information next month regarding OCO's request for increase in the per meal contracted price. They did have an increase from 2022 to 2023, but the new health and nutrition director, after being in there for a very short period of time, has realized that increase is not enough. It was too small of an increase request for the cost of the meals being provided in the program. So they did ask for another increase. I will be bringing that to you, more information on that, and a resolution requesting a change to the contract for that. Any questions before I move on? No? So we're continuing to accept nominations for Senior of the Year, and one of the items that was in with my memorandum is an application. So if you know of any seniors in your area that you would like to recognize, please complete that and get it back to me. We will be recognizing them at our senior picnic, which has been scheduled for August 16th. It will be at the VFW in Mexico. But they'll 2 names will also be promoted to the state office for the aging for the state recognition, and their program is in November. May is Older Americans Month, so today is the first day of Older Americans Month. We will be supplying a proclamation for the May legislature meeting to recognize May as Older Americans Month. The senior picnic. So the senior picnic, we also have Sam Damacola. That's going to be our live entertainment. If anybody knows him, he's volunteering his time to come out to play for our seniors. We also have an application into the Shinneman Foundation for transportation, so hopefully we can get, transportation came in a lot more expensive last year than we ever anticipated it to be, the cost of it. So we reached out to Shinneman to see if they can sponsor the transportation to the picnic this year for our seniors. I previously reported that, with all the aid agencies, the increase in their hourly rate we had to increase their hourly rates. We found out this morning, we've been advised that in the state budget, $9.3 million has been negotiated for the expanded in-home services for the elderly, or our ISIP program, to help cover that cost. So we won't be in the red at OFA and we won't have to cut hours of service for our home care participants, which that was a very high likelihood if they didn't have this additional funding that was put in. So we're very happy to hear that today. Our farmer market coupon season is our farmer market season is right around the corner. The coupon booklets, we haven't heard yet how many we'll be receiving. Last year we received 680. We're hoping we receive at least that many this year. The first 650 participants will receive a container garden as well, so they can grow their own dill. And that's through the SNAP Shine Ed program. And then as of this Friday, OFA is launching, that's the second flyer that you have in there, a new communication, sending reminders to participants of activities on our activities and programs. The State Office for the Aging and Aging New York are covering the cost of this new notification system through December. We're going to see how it goes, see how our participants respond to it. Right now, it's targeting our home delivered meal participants, our home care clients, as well as transportation participants, so we can send them notifications, program updates, reminder, the senior picnic's coming up, anything that we want, whether it's a program reminder notification, or if we have to let them know day of that there's a program that's been canceled, whether it's transportation or a home delivered meal route, so they know that they get that notification. We sent the information to the company so everyone is in the system, that they can opt out of it if they don't want to receive it. So we sent them, if we had their email address, we sent the email address. If they had a cell phone, we sent the cell phone number. If they have a home phone, we sent that. So it can go via telephone, cell phone, or email. And OFA has been assigned their own phone number, so when they do call or receive that text, they'll say Oswego County OFA. So they'll know that on the caller ID. It won't look like a random number. The only other thing I wanted to say is that the event in Pulaski that you attended at the American Legion, Elizabeth in my office worked with the mayor of Pulaski to organize that event. So that was a co-organization between the Office for the Aging and the mayor. So I just want to bring attention to Elizabeth, who's not here. She's very instrumental in getting that resource fair up in the Pulaski area because they've been underserved to receive information on services.
It was organized very well. Yep. Got home really late because it went till 6.
Yeah.
We don't live near a top store, so Pat gave me her coupons and her grocery list for the top store. So I got home about 8:10.
Makes for a long day for sure.
Yeah, it does. But it was very well organized.
But then you get to pick what snacks you want.
I wasn't exactly in the snacking booth, but
All righty, any questions for Sarah? Go ahead.
I just want to make a comment that I had a meeting up in the town of Albion, and Sarah, for Office of Aging, came up. She came up with a nice presentation for the people at 6 o'clock at night up in the town of Albion. They really appreciated it, and most of the people said they had no idea that Office of Aging shared a lot of those programs. So I just want to thank you for going up there and going out of your way.
You're very welcome. It was a beautiful drive. I was happy to go up. Anybody else wants that, I'd be more than happy.
Oh, you want a beautiful drive? Come on to Cleveland.
Yeah, yeah. Right on the lake, too. Do it on the lake.
Yeah, do it on a nice
Okay,
day.
we
It only takes an hour.
I'd be happy. I'd be come out anywhere, anytime.
I'm probably gonna take you up on that. All right. All right, how's that? Oh, okay. Human Services, or Department of Social Services, Stacy.
Yeah, so first I just want to say, I will be at a commissioners gathering with state commissioners and all our local commissioners next week. So I will not be at the Board of Legislators meeting. May is Foster Care Appreciation Month, and I believe we'll have at least one foster parent who has done some, this couple has done some pretty exceptional work. You may have seen the press release out of our public information. Great job, ladies, and you know, it was easy, just send a picture and they take it from there. But it was our foster parents actually bringing just a room full of desserts and baked goods for foster parents all across the county to honor our caseworkers, which is just so amazing, the kinds of supports and what we've experienced this past year with people reaching out to us. Also not on my written report to you because we still don't know what's going to happen with the state budget. Still hasn't passed.
Yeah, it's funny that they keep talking about it, but they don't talk about that part, do they?
No. Although we've not found anything through my association, Public Welfare Association, New York State Association of Counties, if you didn't see it, sent out Sunday night that in fact, right now at least, and so who knows what will happen between now and the time it passes, they're looking at, instead of cutting us right out of the EFMAP money this year, they do it over 2 years. So for this year, they're saying $405 million of the $625 million for the 23-24 state budget year would come to counties, and then less the following year, and then zero. That's still not in the spirit of what I believe the federal legislation calls for. So again, you know, there's not a lot of counties that have to contribute so substantially to Medicaid costs. Most states, the state takes care of that cost. So, you know, we'll wait and see what happens. What I can tell you is they told us more than 10 years, maybe closer to 15 years ago, we would be out of the Medicaid business in the local district because the state would take it over. And we're still pumping out Medicaid. In fact, the most complex, which is our chronic care Medicaid. So, you know, we'll see. You know, it's always interesting to see where the state's going.
Well, the fact that they're not talking about it means they don't want to talk about it.
No, they don't. No, they don't. You know, we continue to see in DSS just so many more mandates, and they must be back working again. We've got 4 audits going on right now in our financial assistance. We've got probably on the table right now about 8 different plans that need to be submitted, different departments. But Child and Family Services, they know what our local districts are up against. We're going to back off a little bit. I see the templates and I said, really, this is what they call backing off. You know, it's just, I don't know. They don't seem to have a finger on the pulse of what's happening right here, boots on the ground in counties. What I can tell you is, I know we left last month's meeting with folks, I think the 2 of you saying, yay, good news. And we're on a roll here. We're on a roll. In my report, I did a report out, but that was April 17th, right when I need to get things to Betsy. And wow, at that point, we were 23.5% of all positions vacant. I'm pretty sure at this point, we would be under 20%. I do know under services vacancies, at that point in the 17th, we had 25 vacancies. We're now at 9. We brought 8 new caseworkers in last month. We have
2 more coming this month and 8 interviews set up this week.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's amazing.
That really is.
Yeah, we are just so grateful to see new talent, and these are, some really exceptional candidates coming through the door. And frankly, if they're not exceptional candidates, they don't make it past their first 8 weeks. So we still are very selective. We cannot diminish quality of our workforce, which will then just jam us up even further down the road. So we really have been very, very appreciative of everyone's efforts. I really think with the caseworkers, it is the pay raise and the waiver of the civil service test. So we're very pleased about that. We still are having a hard time with account clerks, getting account clerks and senior account clerks too. And so, the work, although so many of my colleagues are working additional hours and overtime, we just can't keep up, folks. We are behind in accounting on our claiming of revenue, our invoices, trying to get things done. We just got a wonderful typist seated, and she's just really been amazing. But these typists and these account clerks, before the meeting, we were talking about civil service tests. What a dinosaur. I mean, we've got 2 account clerks seated that are doing fabulous. Couldn't pass the civil service test because they don't really test for what the real, for what really the job entails. And a typist who didn't pass because of spelling. So really they have spelling words on these civil service tests, even with spell check nowadays? I mean, I just don't get it. But if I, had a magic wand, I certainly would look at a whole different kind of civil service. It's very noble to serve the public. And it has always been a noble profession. And, I think we need to get back to our roots with all of that. You heard a bit about, from our employment and training director, Rachel. She also has put into, in my report, the Center State CEO with a regional commercial driver's license workforce strategy. And we also put in for a private foundation for EMTs. So they're right in the thick of things. They're doing an incredible job over there. And then I want to turn it over to Marty to talk a little bit about electronic archiving of our records. You saw the 3.5 typists, and that's not really the whole story here. Archiving records is a lot harder than you may think. Yes, it's also filled with IT glitches. Before I go on to our internal with Marty, I do want to just mention, I hear the RFP went out on the bathhouse. I don't know what's happening with our parking lot, but I put a kind of panicked email out recently because parking, there's not enough parking spaces in Mexico for the number of employees. And this has been a decades-old issue. And at this point in time, I don't know what to do. There's no parking on the streets. There's no municipal lot in Mexico. I just don't know what to do. So if you can say your magic words and get I would be so indebted. The only thing I can think of is for maybe you as the Human Services Committee to look at, is there any way until we have relief to the parking, we could look at some of our really high-level, high-functioning workforce that might be able to do a hybrid work at home so we could have a little bit of relief in the parking lot. You know, they'd come in like 2 days, and then the following week switch off with a colleague, switch off their parking space, and just try to have some relief in the parking lot. I frankly don't know what to do at this point in time. So any suggestions would be helpful, or even understanding what the timeline is for this relief out at DSS. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, Marty.
Okay. So archiving records really isn't a new thing for us at DSS because we have this state IEDR process for all of our assistance programs records, with the exception of child care, because that belongs to OCFS instead of OTDA. And then we brought in Northwoods with Compass and now Traverse. And all of those things are going really, really well. We decided to move child support and foster care and adoptions and some accounting stuff, some admin stuff to Laserfish, which is a different archiving system, because those were the areas where we just needed an electronic file cabinet. We really didn't need a lot of the bells and whistles that Northwoods has to offer, that our caseworkers can enjoy and use that for case management. It's been about 1.5 years getting through the process of getting the structure built for that archive. And Greg Howland's folks have been working really closely with us, especially over the last few months, to try to pull that off so that we know that when we open a new case record in that repository, all of the documents we feed into it are going to go to the correct place. Because once it's there, then you're good. But if you scan it in and don't check, and it's not where it's supposed to be, it's really, really hard to find again. So meanwhile, we've been continuing to add to our staffing, and we're starting really to put people into our building with a shoehorn. Squeezing cubicles in, trying to make people as comfortable as possible, but you might have a desk today, you might have a landing spot tomorrow. So we needed to fast forward with the removal of the floor-to-ceiling rolling racks that we have in our downstairs. That will house a unit of 14 staff once we get those rolling racks removed. So we need to remove all the case records, put the closed ones in storage in boxes outside the walls of our conference room until we can get our temporary people, and we have about 10 current staff people who have agreed to assist with the project on additional hours. Can get all of those records scanned and gradually clean that all out. Meanwhile, child support staff will be working on the active case records, and when they touch a file, they scan it and get that moving that way. But we're going to have to pull together file cabinets again to put their active cases in so that they can find them. But it will allow us to empty all of those rolling racks, have them torn down, have the floor remodeled because it's built up to go underneath the rolling racks, and prepared to receive cubicles again. So that'll give us 14 new spaces down there. We move fraud downstairs, gives us more room for services people upstairs. And meanwhile, we're continuing to archive records. And it's just hit us everywhere in our department. Accounting right now can't get rid of any records at all because of a lawsuit that's happening. They have to hold every record, and it's just gobs and gobs of records on racks in their rooms. So the imaging is going to help us save that space, and it's also going to help with the ease of access to those records when we need to find them again. Excuse me. So while it's a huge big lift on the front end, I really am very hopeful and
feel really confident that our digital archiving is going to save us a lot of time in the future. Auditors will be able to just log in and find what they need. We won't have to make photocopies of everything. I'm constantly throwing a fit about people printing things, because we just don't need the paper around, just to get lost or become outdated. So, yeah, our IT is, we so depend on it, and we just do not have the capacity in our IT department to meet all of DSS's needs. That's the bottom line. And they're working hard, they're trying hard, but some of this IT piece is so time consuming and expensive. In the long run, we'll save money, but in the short term, trying to work out these glitches in Laserfish is just, it's just, you can get a user all set up and all of a sudden their settings disappear. Or you're scanning records, and because the scanners are dual-sided scanners, if a stamp bled through to the back of the page, then you've got an extra page in your record. There's a lot of that we have to get through. Yeah, and on it goes. Yeah. But I do thank you for everything you're doing to promote our mission, we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, from what at least I feel like we are. On any given day, though, after someone has really had a very heavy lift and there's nobody around for there to be deployed into help, it can feel pretty overwhelming after all of this time to our staff. But we're doing lots of cool things for staff morale. Veronica remembers, we know how to make a pizza party just like a grand festival, as hard as we work, we also laugh together, and we also really try hard to support each other with good camaraderie. So, any questions for me? I'm always happy to provide any kind of information.
Have you been talking to Phil right along about the parking lot and the?
Yes.
What does he say?
So mostly it's Rick Doughton, I think, and I know Rick has had a lot, yeah. The asbestos,
Asbestos removal thing that just got done.
yes, I think the contract's getting approved next week.
And that's for the building in Mexico, correct?
That's for that White House.
The one you want to tear down.
And then I guess Highway Department comes in to tear everything down, but I'm not sure when that is.
Well, the removal of the asbestos is a time-consuming endeavor. It just is a time-consuming deal, and that'll take a while.
And then I'm thinking there needs to, well, actually, Rick alluded that there would need to be some kind of request for a bid or a proposal to have it designed, because, there's the drainage is terrible there, so there's gonna be issues with drainage and curbs and lighting and sidewalks.
I was going to tell you that process is going to take a while, just because.
Yeah, even if I could get a sense of whether that's this year or next year, so I could kind of try to figure out something. It's, I can't have zero space out there when desperate citizenry comes seeking our services. They have to have a place to park.
Well,
So,
on that site there's some issues that legally and mandatory we have to do, so.
yes, we
I
do.
can't, so I think I don't know, I could have been involved with it, but I'd say, if it hasn't been progressed a long ways so far, it won't be done this summer. Not knowing but because of
Maybe
the
fall?
procedure. Who knows, I can find out for you.
We'll bring it forward.
Okay, thank you. And I have brought it forward too. No more.
Gotta keep pushing.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Back to Dan LeClaire days.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
It's been a really long time.
Is it
It's
really?
been a while since we approved.
COVID took some of the pressure off, but
Yeah,
that
but still.
sounds like pressure.
COVID did take the pressure off, yeah, that absolutely is true.
Was
Now we're-
there any legal problems allowed getting the property or anything like that?
I'm sorry.
Was there any legal problems that would delay things when they got the property?
Hmm?
Okay.
No,
No, not at all.
Okay.
Any problems?
I got it now. There we go.
Legislator Lombardo probably knows better than I, but I think there will be some cheers by Mexico Township leadership when that house comes down.
yeah, Terry be all happy.
And we will be too, you know, we are concerned about youth and homeless and
Yeah.
wandering
We're getting
around.
the sign made.
It's not in the budget.
We're gonna have a christening, it's the Lee Hill Parking Lot.
Well, you know, for as hard as Legislator
That's what I'm
Rico advocates for us,
You gotta
he
make
is a
something out
champion
there.
for us. I would support that, actually.
Lee Hill
As you can see from space.
And you will be able to see
Video
it from
parking.
space.
You can it right onto the parking lot itself.
There we go.
Yeah, it's,
We'll give it a shot. We'll see what we can do.
all right, thank you guys, I do appreciate you.
All right, thank you, everybody. I look for the appropriate motion.
So
Make
moved.
the motion.
All in favor?
Uh,
Great, thank you all.